Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on folks. It's me, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can you believe it? August is just about gone. I mean, July is just about gone.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be August in a few more days. I mean,
Blue.
yeah, what time has flown? I mean, seems like summer's getting shorter. I don't know. It's one thing. It was one thing when I was a kid, but I don't. I'm an adult and I don't have a job and I don't have to worry about those things anymore. But for you kids out there, it's gonna be school time. And this literally, like she gonna say that because she is a mother of 5 kids. She is a former military service person. We, as a veteran, we like to say this: we appreciate the sacrifice you have made for our country. Thank you, ma'am. She's also IFBB figure pro. She turned pro last year at the U.S. Championships. That's the show, was it?
USA's.
USA's, okay. And she could share her story how she got into bodybuilding and talk to us and what's her plans for maybe this year or next year. So we'd like to welcome the lovely Miss Trisha Fladten. And sorry, Fladten.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Because sometimes I'm from the South. Sometimes you'll get words right. But we like to welcome her and thank you for coming in, ma'am. This is a question I'd like to ask you, ladies. What got you started in this sport, as I call it, muscle
Well,
masculinity? Please share.
I've always been into fitness since high school, since I was a kid. I was never the girly girl. And then when I got older, I had married my late husband, and he was kind of in the bodybuilding. He never competed, but he wanted to, and so that kind of piqued my interest. And then after he had passed, I kind of fully immersed myself in the fitness world just to kind of help combat that grief. And then I had a friend we were talking about competing, and she said she had always wanted to, and I said same. And so we found a coach that was local, and we competed, and then I stepped off stage and fell in love with it, and I was ready for the next show.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sorry about the loss of your husband. What was his name? And when did y'all
Jack.
two meet? Hmm?
Jack was his name.
When did y'all meet?
When or where?
When y'all meet? When you got together?
Let's see, 2011, 2010.
Hmm. And was he also in the military?
He was. That's how we met. Yep.
Yeah. Or and for people who not seen the other views, what branch did you serve? Because I know it's Air Force.
Yeah. Air Force.
Air Force. And what was your rank and position by the time you got out?
Just I was almost there. I was supposed to get my staff sergeant, but then things had got lost in translation when I had transferred up to Alaska. So then it was all messed up. But I was a senior airman and I was security forces. And then I tried transferring when we moved from Alaska down to Texas, and that was a whole battle too. So just with all sorts of things. And so I was planning on going back in later in life, and I just haven't done that yet. But I want to before I get too old.
Well, in the Air Force, you get too old. You hit 30, you can't get in. So they don't want you after 30. They want you young and fresh because And I remember doing the last week with KL. I took the ASVAB, and
Yep.
my interest was the Marine Corps. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of my own mind, my own person. I don't know. I know some guys who join and people who get in the military. I respect them, but sometimes you have to be a passion. What got you interested in joining the Air Force?
So I grew up a military brat. My dad was military, and I too had wanted to do the Marines. And then he kind of talked me out of it into the Air Force just because he was, more concerned about a family-oriented position for me. And so he was a cop in the Air Force, or in the Army. So I wanted to be a cop in the Air Force, and that's kind of where that carried me. That's kind of what my decision was from there.
Well, to your father, I say it's just I appreciate the sacrifice he made for his country. I know it's tough being a military brat. You have to move around. You don't
Mhm.
a stationary life, but and then like I said again, you really was into fitness and in health. And well, you were did sports as you were growing up.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. What was your favorites?
I played soccer for a while. I played all of them really. And then when I was in high school, it was track. Went to state with that, and then yeah, that's kind of. And then when I got into weightlifting, that's kind of where I really fell in love with all of that part of fitness.
Yeah, weightlifting, it's bodybuilding is a tough sport, especially for a woman. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, lifting weights and stuff like that. And especially you get 5 kids, and what's the ages and the names you want to share with us?
All right, the oldest is going to be 15. He's Peyton. And then so I call my stepson my son. I've been in his life for 10 years now. His name's Corbin. He's 13. And then I have Camden, 12. And then the twins, they're 5, Rowan and Amelia.
Well, that one stepson, as long as you feed him, he's yours. that's
I,
it. Yeah, because we had kids. There's a girl. She's not my niece by blood,
yeah.
but we always treated her like the family. My sister to take care of her. She used to come to our house. We lived out the country, and she called my mother grandma. Even now today, she still calls me Uncle George. And we're not no blood kin, but I love her like she was my daughter. Like my niece, not my daughter, not my niece. And my brother, he was. I remember my brother passed away. We went to tell her about his passing. That broke her heart because that was like her father figure. Right here we have my man Dennis Espinoza. Shout out Dennis. It says, "Go George." Thank you, brother. Coming through. Dennis Espinoza. He's from Texas. As I call him, he's the hand of the king, the warden of the West. Shout out to him. And your first competition, what was the division? What was it like for you?
The division was figure, and that was in 2021, and it was run by Jack and Antatoni, and they did such an excellent job. They really run their shows really, really well. And like I said, I loved it. The experience backstage, and I'm a super competitive person, and so just that thrill of getting on stage and kind of, showcasing everything that you did for the past 16, 20 weeks, and knowing that nobody could take that from you. That was all you. And so it was just a really rewarding moment, and I felt really empowering as a woman. And like I said, as soon as I stepped off stage, I was like, all right, let's go. When's the next one?
That's
Which
great.
I'm a really shy person and don't like to be center of attention, but something about being on stage is just a whole different feeling.
Well, you're in the wrong sport. You'd be shy. You got to think about it.
Up here.
Yeah, because you're out there, you're on the stage, you're pretty much next to butt naked. You got lights shining on you. You're tired, you're nearly dehydrated. But to do this sport, you have to have a passion for it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So what was that feeling for you that first time on stage? Like I said, you really liked it. You wanted. You're like it's like Oliver Twist say, "Can more plus C, sir?
Yep.
Can more please?"
It was just such a rush that I had never felt. I can't even explain it. It was just one of those feelings, just of being proud. I've grown up, with a lot of trauma and stuff, and never feeling good enough or having body image issues. And in that moment, I just felt like my most beautiful self, and I had felt really great and confident. And I love everything that kind of brought with it.
Yeah, you got to love what you do, especially when you're out there presenting yourself, the work you put into the sport, the time you put into it, and the sacrifice and money you have to put into, because money you put into, like for you ladies, it's more expensive to compete
Oh my
compared
gosh.
to men. Yeah, because the guys can wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's about it.
Like 50
And
bucks.
yeah, and you ladies have to hold level, especially in figure. As figure has been around for quite some time. I think it's the third oldest division in bodybuilding for women. Because first there was men's bodybuilding and female bodybuilding. Then here comes fitness, and then figure came, and you have 212 and all those others. And now you have it's like the physique and the TNA divisions. That's wellness and bikini. And as a competitor, you feel that there's so much, not enough criteria set, guidelines for your divisions, where you looking now when you're competing, you're seeing women crossing over from one division and from another.
So, it's such a subjective sport. And so it just, not every judge is going to look at your physique the same. And I know that there are guidelines and criteria. However, I think that they're as a competitor, looking at these women, I'm like, am I going to be big enough in the figure division, or am I going to be big enough if I wanted to, my current coach and I have talked about me going women's physique. Like, am I going to be big enough for that? And then I see, Sid Gillen, she's the standard. So she's very, itty bitty waist. She's feminine and beautiful and grace, just so much grace to her. And that's like the physique that I like. And that's what I love about figure. And then it's, the other competitors, they're all beautiful and just so put together, but still so big. And so then I'm like, well, you know, what about physique? It's so, that's the only part that I do struggle with. Like, where do I belong, or where am I going to go? And, what are they going to look for that day? Um, but for the most part, it seems, like for figure, it's, more feminine and that X frame, and then physique, it's a little bit more conditioned and, more muscle mass and all that. So it's hard. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's about how you grow and develop as an athlete in this
Right.
sport. I think with some people they have those certain qualities that might work for one division compared to the other. You
Yeah.
know, some women a little bit more have the more rounder, bigger delts. Some women have the better conditioning, and also one thing is with figure you're always wearing the clear heels. You know, that's, you know, sometimes get tired, like, dang, get out of these heels. I know some ladies who done figure, and then when they say, you know what, I'm going to say, let's give me these cloud hoppers. Let's be done with it.
Yeah, I don't wear heels ever, so it's kind of funny how easy it was to kind of put them on and pose in them, to do that too. So
Yeah, we have here another guest, and he's also somebody you know. This is my man KLA, the Wanderer. Shout out to him. He says, "Hey, good afternoon. Hey, brother, how you doing?" Also, this is from. He says, "Stay fit, Trish." You know, thank you, brother. As you know, K also does content on women's bodybuilding and other stuff. Shout out to him. And, yeah, it is a lot to this. You know, it's subjective. I mean, the judges would tell you one thing. I remember I was talking to one lady who was a fit competitor. Who said that the judge says you need more size, but why you need more size? Where
right.
it's just just this is where I say this: stick with the guidelines that's set for the division, and not try to make it into something else.
Yeah. That's where I struggle knowing what to do, because I don't know what they want anymore. So, I had a friend, she just went to a show for her pro show, and had mentioned certain things that she had talked to the judges for the feedback, and they're saying like they want this and this, or they don't want this and this. But then, the ones that were in the top five all had those things that they said they didn't want. So then it becomes confusing. Like, well, what do you want? I don't know. It is tough. I love the sport so much, and I know it's hard. It's got to be hard for the judges to decide, and but yeah.
Well, like I said, you have to love this sport because you're still again sport, especially now that you're a pro.
Hmm.
And as an amateur, the cost of paying entrance fees and
Oh
everything
yeah.
that goes with it. And now you're a pro, you don't have to worry about entrance fees, but still have to worry about the cost of competing. What was that feeling like when they told you now you are IFBB pro?
So it was kind of funny after prejudging. One of my good friends he was at the show with me in Vegas, and I was just so excited to be there. Right, I was so grateful for the opportunity, and I was backstage just kind of looking at everybody like, wow, they're just so amazing. These women are just beautiful. I know what I did to get here, so I know they had to do it, if not more. And it was just so much appreciation that by the time that we got on stage, I was just so happy to be there. I didn't even realize where they had placed me. So when I got off, everybody was telling me congratulations, because at USA's you can place in the top two in your class, and those two get the IFBB pro cards. Um, and I said, why are you telling me congrats? I wasn't in the middle. And they said, no, you were to the right of her. So that's typically second
Second
place.
place.
And so I was like, it felt super surreal in that moment. I went out and asked my friend, I'm like, did I just get my IFBB pro card? And he goes, yeah, as it stands, so we were like trying to stay cool between prejudging and finals. And I talked to one of the coaches backstage, and he's like, Sandy doesn't necessarily change her mind. So I think you got it. You're good to go. And it was, it doesn't feel real still. Here we are a year later, USA's are coming this weekend, and I'm like, I'm an IFBB pro. There's no way, not me.
Yeah, and you mentioned Sandy Williamson. That's one of the top judges in
Yeah.
bodybuilding. I think she does a lot of work with more of the women, but she does judge men. You have also Steve Weinberger. There's also Tara Mannion. Those are the top people that understand the aspects of bodybuilding. But still, I think they need to really sit down, set the guidelines here. We have here a comment from man KLA. He says this. He says. Um, there's someone who can balance themselves with heels. Yeah. One of my jobs, I used to work with women who used to work high heels, but it was a strip club, so that's a different situation. But so folks, what we're gonna do here is while we got Trisha here, we're gonna jump into her social media for a little bit, like some pictures, stuff like that. And if you want to follow her, her link is on in the live stream of this interview. You can check her out. You can follow her on social media. You can support her as a IFB pro and as a lady in the sport, and also appreciate her as a sacrifice as a military service person. But guys, I know she's a nice lady. She took time out to talk with me. And I'm like, and this is a disclaimer. I have to tell this is a disclaimer. I tell everybody to do this, Trish. No D pics. She got 5 kids. She got a man. She don't want no problems.
No, I don't want any of that.
None of that. Come on. You don't want to get somebody to hear a bunch of knocking on the door. It's a man and about your kids about to whip your ass. So she don't want that. So stay calm, guys, and be cool. So we're gonna jump in there social media for a bit. And like I said, and you talk about your coach. Who's your coach? Who are you working with?
He's IFBB pro Corey Chris Curtis. He's out of South Carolina. His competitor and also fellow coach within our team is Tessa Meets. And do what?
Oh, Tessa Meets. She just got her Olympic qualification at Charlotte. That's Charlotte. That's right there. A good ways from where I stay at. And she lives in South Carolina.
Yeah, that was her pro debut and won it. And she's literally outstanding. She's one of the first figure competitors that I'd started following and just really fell in love with her look. And that's when it was about 2 years ago, I started kind of looking at her and her coach and was just super inspired by her. And so it's kind of still surreal that I'm on the same team as her. And we talk sometimes, and she's so motivating and just amazing.
Yeah, I think she has a great look to her. I think her physique is pretty. I think it's getting to the point where it's almost at the level of, I would say, physique. But the divisions keep changing up, and or criteria is coming. Here's you are eating some donuts.
Yeah.
What's that feeling? Yeah, I think it's a Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know.
No, it's Pink Box, and it was in Vegas on Fremont Street, and it was funny because I was getting those for my friend, and I was like, well, I got to try a few, and there's a young kid in there, and he said, I just have to ask you, how do you eat that and look like that? I'm like, I don't. It's my first one having in 20 weeks, so.
Yeah, because as a bodybuilder, you have to stay on a strict diet, especially when you're prepping, And when at your last show, what was the critique the judges? Because I know you did talk to Sandy. What was the critique she told you?
I didn't know. It was funny. Well, it's not funny because I've never been to a national show. And when they were rolling us in for check-ins, they had kind of put us in with women's physique as figure girls. And so I had missed that part of check-ins that you're supposed to stay after for judges' feedback. So I'd emailed them and was hoping for a response back. And I know the judges have lives and they're super busy, but I had never gotten a response. But I kind of knew what I needed to work on, looking at, my previous coach and I had kind of talked about my weak areas, and I assume what they probably would have said too.
Yeah. And you feel like as you look at your physique, what's your best asset physically?
I think my quads. I think that's probably it.
And what's the thing you feel like you need to work on the most?
My back always. I think that's gonna always, be. It's come up a lot, but I just want to make sure that that's dense enough, and I've got enough, lower lats, and my hamstrings too, making sure that those are good. Yeah.
Here's just one of your babies. Which one was this one?
That was twin A, and I was pushing out twin B.
Ooh, that's the thing. Good. That's a good thing to have a man.
That in and of itself, my greatest accomplishments is always my kids, and I was not expecting twins, but super grateful that they were healthy and I was able to deliver them, and they're healthy today. They're ornery, but they're healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing with children. They are a handful. Like I said, I never had it on my own, but I grew up with a large family, nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews, and brothers and sisters. And I think this is from.
That's from the women's
Yeah.
workshop.
And actually, that's a dear friend of mine, Lloyd Conley. Just saw her. You know, yeah, me and Lloyd, we've done interviews, and and Andrea Shaw. Oh my God.
Uh, I was so starstruck. I was like, I'm sure she gets it all the time, but I was going to the bathroom like, oh my gosh. And then seeing, oh my God, it was just like, because you in normal life you just become kind of the outcast because you eat on this meal plan, and you go to the gym, and you're focused and this and that. So to be in a room full of other women who totally get it and live that same way, I just felt like, oh my God, I was totally at home.
Yeah, I saw Jessica Reyes Padilla, who's number two to
Oh
Sid
yeah.
Gillen was there. I saw also Natalia Coelho was there, also posing with Andrea. Yeah, it's who do you follow that you're a big fan of in the sport?
Oh, all of them. Sid, yeah, she's like the number one. I love her so much. She had done posing and kind of walking through all of it when we were there and at the women's workshop, and she's hilarious, so funny, so sweet, and gave everybody their pictures that they asked for. She was just so sweet. And Jessica Reyes Padilla, so tall. I was like, oh my gosh, so intimidated, but she was so sweet too. I mean, all of them. I think they're all just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, these amazing women. Like I said, I follow them on social media. Do content on them. Andrea is one of my favorites. I'm going to admit that I am a big smo when it comes to her. She really gave new life to women's bodybuilding when it was struggling, when it was getting kicked out of shows, and and less people didn't want to compete. And here's y'all with your babies. That's all sweet. The twins and the
Yeah.
boys.
Hmm.
Mhm. What they think their mom being a bodybuilder, what's their mind, because I don't know, especially the 15-year-old, you got to think about it. His mom on stage, in a posing suit, when, somebody say, hey, man, that's your mom. She looks hot. Hey, that's my
He
mom.
did inform me of that the other day, that his friends said apparently I'm the hot mom, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it just makes me feel so weird. But he thinks it's pretty amazing. He's been with me the whole time. Obviously he's funny with it too. Him and my other son. I had like 2 sessions of cardio. I do my first one. I sit down. I'm like, trying to relax, and he's like, wait, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm taking a break. I'm just hanging out. He goes, no, you need to get up and you need to go finish it. I'll watch the twins. You go do your cardio, mom. So he's very much on me and wants me to do well. And so whenever I won my pro card, he was like, well, now I got to get muscles. I can't have a professional bodybuilder mom look like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, the quote the great late Norman Bates, a boy's best friend, is his mother, and we love our mother. Like my mother, she's been gone about 4 years. I loved her. I took care of her when she was sick, and and we as boys, you're the first woman that we ever love. You
Right.
know, Wives, girlfriends come and go, but we lose your mother. There's no one can replace her. Here, this is from man KL the Wanderer. He says, you should have done a backflip when you got your pro card. Just kidding. All
I
right.
don't,
I don't know if you, hmm?
I don't know how to do one, so that wouldn't have ended well.
I think you want to do it in high heels. That's the thing you want to do. You
No.
might break your legs. So I hope you go far, have nice physique, Trish. And that's what he says. It's also, he often asks, he says, what motivates you when you get discouraged at times? This can be in general. So yeah, as you know, this is a tough sport. It's mentally, physically, financially draining. What motivates you to keep doing this sport? What keeps you going?
Honestly, my kids. My husband is a really, really huge supporter too. Even he'll hear me complain like, I can't do this, I don't want to do it, and he's like, but you're going to, so just stop and go do it. Um, if I'm like the worst about feeling like I'm not good enough, and could be from the trauma of my childhood, could be from just whatever. But we are all of our own worst critics. So just hearing like even my coach, he pumps me up, or my kids are like, you can do it, mom. So I never want to let them down. I want them to see like, if you want to do something bad enough, just do it and suck it up, and really at the end of the day, it's not about who you beat. It's just about beating yourself, really. And that's just what it comes down to. I already know that I beat my physique from USA's, and so I'm excited to see what happens next year. And um, I mean, there's days, I think at this point, any of the times that I just feel like I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm so used to doing things, and I'm such a structured, routine oriented person that I just do it because it's just second nature. So get up at 4 a.m., go to the gym, and that's just what I do.
Yeah, because pretty much as a competitor, it's not you against another competitor. It's you versus you
Yeah.
when you're competing. It's you got to be able to motivate yourself to get up in the morning, to do the workouts, to follow the diet. And people, especially people who don't follow bodybuilding, who are mostly just people on the outside saying like, okay, it's all steroids and this. No, it's not.
No.
It's a small factor to it. It's a very small factor. And I think you say you're a natural competitor.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you were a
I
natural competitor.
NABF pro card back in 2022.
Yeah, and that's the difference because it's about the consistency of being a
Mm,
competitor. The when you get up in the morning, the workouts, your diet. When you work out, what's your favorite and least favorite workout?
I don't like doing legs.
Come on. That's typical. I had 5 bodybuilders, and 3 of them pros say they love leg day. You gotta be a freak if you say that.
I hate leg day. I hate it, hate it, hate it. I love back day. That's my favorite. Hmm.
Yeah, because that's the important part about being in figure because you want those wider shoulders, you want that taper, look to it. You want that X frame I've heard of. Because like I said, I'm still outside. I'm still learning some terminologies. And I know there's days where, especially you get up in the morning and the kids are in this summertime, the kids are about. And there's times where I don't want to go to the gym, but you just keep yourself motivated to go because you're determined to make your pro debut. So you're thinking you're gonna make your pro debut next year.
Yep. Next spring is what we're looking.
Yeah, and what show are you looking at?
Um, so the Charleston Pro doesn't have women's physique. So if I go that route with doing physique, I wouldn't do that. I was looking at Triple O. There, and then there's one kind of in the summertime that's kind of close to me, Omaha for in June.
Well,
So
actually, Omaha don't have
they have women's
figure.
physique. They don't
Oh,
have
where's
figure.
the see? Oh, you're not gonna do figure. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So I mean, the game plan is right now. My coach and I have talked about me going women's physique, and then um, seeing what the judges' feedback is there, and then kind of figuring it out. See where I
Yeah.
play.
Yeah. Let's try to see where you fit in to get in. Here we got here, man. Carrie says it says uh I like her quads. Yeah, that's the killer. You get great quads. And also, he says this. He says a woman accomplished in life is having kids. Well, a majority of women, but this day and age is a women's career. For what I know. Well, like I said, some women you can try to have it both. Be a mom and work. And live your life. It's like I said, it's tough because, like I said again, you got kids to raise, and especially when you're prepping, and you can't, the kids not gonna eat what you're eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say, "Mom, what's that you're eating?" I said, "Well, broccoli with some quinoa and a little, some proteins." They say, "Mom, I like some chicken nuggets and some French fries." And, you know, yeah. That's the thing is about, especially having your children as good as support. And your husband, what's your husband's name?
Corey.
How long y'all been together?
We have been married now, let's see, 2018, 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. And he stands by you, and you talk about your other family. Like so you have a picture with your brother. What your other family thought about you being a bodybuilder?
My brother, he's like my best friend, so he loves it. He tells everybody about it, and he brags on me all the time. My dad and my mom go to every show of mine. They're super supportive of it. They know when I'm in prep and kind of what entails with that, so they're really great about it. For me at home, I've always eaten something separate than everybody else, so it's never really been anything new for me to do that anyway. So I've always kind of prepped my own food and then had them eat their own. But funny is when I'm in prep, I end up baking way more than I ever do outside of prep just to watch them. I don't know if it like helps me some way, but I watch them eat it. And I'm like, how is it? Is it so good?
Yeah, 'cause kids, they kind of, kids can be kind of funny, especially when it comes down to eating.
Mhm.
I'm a big dude, but I'm a picky eater. And it's good that they support you, your family supports you, because it's tough.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, to do this sport, the time you take to put into it, and to raise a family. I mean, like I said, I've been fighting about it for a long time. There wasn't that many women like yourself who compete in bodybuilding and who had kids. Generally most were single or younger. You have a growing number of masters competitors. Now in the last few years, I've known some ladies who have a couple of kids, who love this sport because they have a passion for it.
Yep.
hmm We have here a comment from a man, KL. He says this. He says, you know, because like he says, I like when the minority of bodybuilders like leg day, but back is cool. Yeah, because those are minority. They are if you hear anybody will say they love leg day, you look at them sideways. Like
Yeah.
it's like the episode. One of my favorite shows used to be the Chappelle Show. It was an episode where Eddie Murphy and True Heart Story about we met Rick James, and Rick James went back to him and went back to Charlie's and Eddie's house. And you remember Rick says, F your couch, Eddie Murphy, F your couch. And then Charlie Eddie beating his legs. That's how they did for a bodybuilder. You like
Yeah.
they crawled out saying, hey, what are my legs?
Yep. Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So the plan is for next year, and like I said, there's some few shows that are pretty good. As you know, say where you live exactly?
It's near Kansas City, Missouri.
So Kansas City. I know a friend of mine, Miss Big Keith Williams. He lives in Kansas. His wife, Tina. They are IFB pros. And also a while back, as I said again, I'm a fan of Andrea Shaw, and I think she was a friend of mine, which was Olympia, and she did this for me. She got a signed autograph.
Oh
Uh,
my god. That's
yes,
so,
I love showing this off every time I do interviews because it's
I love she's so,
yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, she's so great. I mean, I'm just a fan of hers, and I think she's really helping out growing women's bodybuilding. But my man Big Keith, this is him, and he got his hands on my girl. I told him, I love he's my brother, but he has his hands on my girl. I told him, you send me this picture. I'm sorry, Trisha. I'm sorry. I just get jealous anytime I see that picture. I mean, you watch out for him. You'll see this brother run somewhere because he lives around out in Kansas. He lives in Lawrence, but just let you know that. So hey, I'm sorry. I just sometimes I can't help myself. It's just that other guy. He comes out. He just gets so jealous, and Trish. He just can't help himself. And okay, chaos is his world. I'm just so sorry about that. So yeah, the sport is evolved in the last few years. I mean, if you look at it now, like we mentioned Tessa, how she was doing the Charlotte Pro, and Lady was doing the Triple O Dynasty. You look at them both now, it's like it's so easy to cross over. You can't really
Mhm.
tell the difference, which is physique or which is figure anymore.
Yeah, Tessa's got that itty bitty waist.
Yeah, and the other lady's Ann Gruber. She's physique.
Duet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you know what? And to get that level, you have to really put on more size,
Right.
and you have to eat more. And you're already feeding 5 kids, and your your food bill could go higher. I
Oh yeah.
mean, yeah. But do you have any sponsors to help you out? Because that's one thing that a lot of people use sponsorship.
No, I wish. I used to have Bodyworks guy. He sponsored me, but then he works for the Chiefs full time. So, but no, I don't. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sponsorship would help for your ladies because, like I said, one thing
oh yeah.
if bodybuilding was more like a mainstream sport in which you can make money from it, where it covers the cost of your travel expenses, instead again, it costs you ladies more to compete because you
Hmm.
got your hair done, your nails done, your pose suit right there. That's maybe a car note or mortgage. That money can go to maybe, hey, let's go to Disney World, kids. But it's just so much to it. I think there should be more benefits, especially
Yeah.
for your competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's surprising the payout too compared to
Yeah.
the bodybuilding.
Yeah, because just so that Arnold announced that he's going to shoot up the men's open division to $500,000, and even on classic, you don't have women's physique or figure or even bodybuilding, and you have TNA divisions, that's wellness and bikini, and you have fitness, and that's one of the oldest divisions around. You think that there should be more opportunities as a competitor when you compete, especially benefits, financial stuff that would help y'all along the way as you are competing as in a pro?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, even at the Arnold, how they kind of took out those divisions, I think that's why the Triple O came into play with Sid Gill and Andrea Shaw, Natalie, and I think there was one more. They,
Uh, Whitney Jones.
yes, Whitney Jones. I totally said I had her face in my mind. I just couldn't think of anything. They're kind of trying to come in and replace what the Arnold is lacking on that aspect. So I think that's really cool, and I think that's a big reason I want to do that show is to support that and be a part of that kind of community with what they were trying to do. Yeah, I mean, more benefits, I think, for women. And I get it. Like, you come to the show, you want to see, like, what they call freaks, bodybuilding, huge, massive men. But, the pay difference is kind of wild to me.
Yeah, because it don't cost those guys as much. They do have to pay for the other stuff, but it doesn't cost them much to compete. You think about it. If you did a show and got $10,000 for winning first place, or even just maybe the top three, top five, that could be enough to cover all your charges and expenses throughout the year. Yeah, because that money can really come in handy. And I think if there was like one thing is you pay for your pro card every year. You make sure
Yeah.
you gotta make sure your that's updated. Benefits to it, like like, okay, you have kids. If something happens to you, there could be something to help you out and your family out. Like you get hurt, you get sick. I know as a veteran, you do have veterans benefits that help out a little bit. But if bodybuilding was more mainstream, where they can get mainstream attention, back in the days, remember, you used to catch on television, but now you don't. You can catch cornhole and throwing darts and playing poker,
Right.
and it's just. But I think the stigma is always this issue of steroids. But the Olympics coming up this weekend, but there's more serious use in that, and also in other sports. But it's so easy to pick on bodybuilding.
Yeah, it is. And, then people call it cheating. People call it also, I've heard all sorts of things. But it's like if you listen to Chris Bumstead talk about it, he's like, it's not about that. It's about how you train, how you eat. And so I think people kind of have this big misconception of all of it in general of the sport. And I think, it's disheartening that it's not more mainstreamed and more, televised and talked about. And I mean, it's becoming more popular since I've joined, all of it 3 years ago. But yeah, then you have people that have had bad experiences with prep and their coach, and then they just kind of talk bad about the sport in general. So then they talk about it with other people, and then people just have this view on it.
Yeah. The thing about coaching is that you can't give the same thing to one person, give to another, especially a woman, because
Yeah.
men and women are biologically different. With the
Yeah.
same species, but with different genders. What you give to a man like 212, you can't give it to a woman that's in figure. You
Yeah.
have to fit like guys like Trey Hodge, he's winning popular with women's. I think I believe so who works with Trey Hodge? I just saw an interview with somebody who worked with Trey Hodge. Nasir, guys like Shelby Starnes is like the female bodybuilding whisperer. They
Mhm.
understand what it takes to get a woman to a certain level compared to everybody else. And what, like I said again, you just can't give somebody the same cookie cutter plan. Some people talk about jumping from coach to coach, but sometimes you got to find that compatibility with that coach.
Yeah, and that's kind of where my thing was when I was looking for a new coach was my hormones were off and I had seen it in my blood work. My gut health was totally off. I was I had moon face. So I knew my cortisol levels were an issue. Um, and then my previous coach didn't necessarily find it as a concern the way that I did. So looking into other coaches, I asked questions, and my current coach Corey, he's amazing, super in tune with me, females in general. Like he we'll talk about certain hormones within like my cycle and stuff, and he's responsive on what I'm eating and this and that, and how I'm training with it too. And so just the difference in that makes you, it makes you feel better. I lost all my inflammation. I'm sleeping better. I'm, not so like just bogged down all the time. There's just so much that has changed since I switched coaches. And yeah, if I wasn't happy with him, I would have found another one, and wasn't trying to coach hop, but trying to find one that I mesh well with, and that cares about me being a woman. Obviously, you know, there's people out there that want more kids or that want kids and things that some coaches just don't care about, and will run them into the ground and screw up their hormones long term. And um, yeah, I don't like the cookie cutter plan.
Yeah, because and the blessing you already had your children before you really serious got into it, and that's a blessing. And you have to understand what it takes for you as an athlete to grow and develop. If that person understands you and you mesh well, then yeah, it's a good relationship. Here we got a comment. This is from my man, um, Balls Deep. I guess the character's on. He says, smash the like button. Thank you, Balls Deep. He says, uh, he also says, peace
Oh,
and blessings, beautiful. He says, you're beautiful. Also, he says this, he says, here he goes, he goes slow. He says, Schmo gang, 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 gang. We all know that. Also, he says, uh, he says, wait a minute, I confused you a little slow. Is she coming up? I don't know. Wait a minute, come on. Yeah, I need to get myself a new computer. Forget it. We'll come back to it later. Oh, here it goes. It says, I'll put a little something on her phone bill. Yeah, I think that could help. You never know. Put some on her kid's phone bill. That might help out too. So, yeah, I know. Kids nowadays, when I was a kid, we just played with sticks and stuff and then and that. And kids, they're on their phones, their laptops. It's just. I remember getting up. My enjoyment was Saturday mornings.
oh yeah.
Getting. Yeah, kids don't like that anymore. Kids today are different.
Oh,
Here we got here from man KL the Wonder. He always picking on me. He says Keith is enjoying himself in that picture. He's saying that's right, George. What you going to do about it? Well, I'll do something about it one of these days. You know. So, and also this is from a man says, with the struggles feel about it, why do you do it? So, as what you got to because your late husband,
mm-hmm.
and then you stayed it because you connected to him. But other than that, what really keeps you motivated in this sport?
Just the structure of it, the thrill of always having, to be better, and there's never like an end goal. It's always just get better. And that's why I struggle with post show sometimes. Like, then I'm like, okay, well, it's over. Like, that thrill of prep is over. Okay, I did the show, now what? But and it's always on to the next, like, hey, let's do the best that I can. And I mean, it is a struggle, but I just enjoy it, and I thrive on, like I told you earlier, I thrive on that routine and that structure, and that discipline. And so it's something that has just become who I am, and I can't picture not doing it.
Yeah, I think that military life really structures you, especially
Oh
you
yeah.
get some bodybuilding, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of structure to it. People think it's just a lot of this, a lot of that, but there's so much to this.
Oh.
That people understand.
Mm-hmm. So
You know,
much.
yeah, and it's good that you have support, your family, friends, because I've talked to ladies that sometimes friendships have lost because they don't understand this about the sport. Like you maybe one night say, hey, Trisha, we're going to the bar. You want to go? No, I got to go sleep. I got to get ready to go in the morning. I got to work out. Trisha, we got to go to this thing. Say, nah, I got to bring my own food because I can't eat what's there. I know ladies who went to barbecues, especially this is around the year barbecue season for the summer. They bring their own food because, even
Yeah.
though, hey, you look at the ribs, they act like Poochie in New Jack City. Say, be calling my name, but you want to get on that stage and, you stand up with people like Jessica Reyes and, Sid Gillen or Lola Montez and also Tessa. You don't want to sacrifice your goals just for that, that desire. So other than the donuts, Trish, What's that thing you desire the most, especially when you're off that stage?
Prep, I want everything, which is so funny because I don't eat any fast food ever. But I always want fast food, Taco Bell when I'm in prep. But outside of that, once the cravings have kind of gone away, I always want sushi or wings. Those are my like go-to on my cheat meals. So so good.
Yeah, this one, KL, he asks you, says, you said, you get this computer slow. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. He asks you this. He says, what's your favorite thing to bake? Are you a baker?
I'm not, I mean, in prep, I bake everything. I'll find all these recipes and I'll start making them for the kids just so I can see how they like it. There's nothing in particular that I like to bake more than the other. I just like to do it. I think it keeps me busy too. Instead of thinking about food, I just start, with my hands and just doing things. Um, but the kids love it. They love when I try new stuff. So they kind of get bummed when I'm not in prep because I don't do it as much. They're like, oh.
Yeah. And you ever test some stuff out on the kids? Like, hey, test that. See what
Yeah.
mommy.
Is it good? It is on a scale from 1 to 10. I always say that. They're like, oh my God, mom.
Well, that's the thing about kids. They are, like I said, we love our parents, and we would do almost anything for them to an extent. Especially, you're going to use this as a petri dish for testing. Here we got here is my man Balls. He says, when she start training. So right now you're just still in prep,
No, I'm in my,
and
I'm in,
your off season. Yeah, your off season.
mhm.
And you just mostly just training to maintain. That's all you're really doing. And
Grow too. So, just eating a lot more food than what I do in a prep. And then, obviously the training is a little bit different than in prep. Just trying to really grow where I can.
yeah, and this is from man KL. He says this is kind of true. He says, you know, this guy says, geez, his computer. I get. Yeah, I gotta get a new one. He says this. He says, the sport isn't for everybody. That's true.
It is true.
It's not for everybody. Yeah, because you know what, again, there's so much you got to sacrifice. You just
Oh yeah.
can't just eat anything you want. You can't do what you want. You have to. Here's the thing: is you have to follow rest. You have to follow recovery. You have to follow whatever plan your coach sets,
Right.
and you have to have that. You have to have an iron will. Because, like I
Mhm.
said again, you got kids. They're gonna go some places. They're gonna eat things in front of you, and you have to say, you know what? I cannot eat that, even though it looks tempting. Even though the ice cream looks good, even though that burger looks good, I can't eat that. I have to be strong and follow my plan. Because I know sometimes there's times we say, maybe I can just have this, it just you ever have those moments when you just feel like, you know what, I can't take it anymore. You just break.
Sometimes, sometimes the chicken is just chickening today, and I don't want chicken. But in that event, I just change up. I change things up and kind of try to make it a little bit more enjoyable. I mean, it helps me though. I don't drink. I don't. I used to be an alcoholic. It's not a desire of mine. And the thing is, now when I think about drinking, I'm like, well, I know it happens. And so if I drink, the body's going to totally stop trying to grow my muscles and just take care of that in the liver. So I always think like, oh, I'm losing gains if I even have a drink. So
We say wine is good, it's depending on the wine, nothing hard like tequila or vodka,
yeah,
that's stuff to a stream. But yeah, it's good that like you get a refeed every now and then that helps you out because sometimes you can't deny your body certain things, and it's just the process. Once you, this is one thing I say like this: it's not trusting the process. It's once you understand the process, then you fully can trust it. Because you know
oh yeah,
what, anything you just can't just go in something willingly without thinking. Let me understand what's this and what's that, and then I'll just follow the plan I got and work with to where it's beneficial to me. Um, Here we have your comment from a man. This is from Joe Camp, and he says this. He says, uh, "Hi Trish, was wondering if I could see the guns."
am I supposed to flag?
Well, it's up to you. Like I said, it's up to you. If you want to or not. Yes, there you go. That's what the most wanted to see. Okay, now, Joe, you can put away your tissue, your lotion. You're good. You know, it's just the thing is that this is the thing about bodybuilding, especially for you women. It's us guys who are family ladies who are fans of not just what you present to your body. We like there's a small saying. I remember when I first started getting into bodybuilding when I was younger, and I was in my first chat room. We talk about bodybuilding. And this
Yeah.
guy told me, said, "Yo, kid, your first time, being in the chat room?" Said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, we got to say." I said, "What's the saying?" I said, "We raised rock hard, we're rock hard." And that's one thing about it. There's also that sexual fetish part to it, because um, that's one way some women pay for their bodybuilding competitions, like doing the OnlyFans or excuse my language, ma'am. They I call them the beat the meat websites.
Yeah.
But I know this is something your husband wants you to do or your kids want you to do. But like I said again, this is why I feel like bodybuilding should have more of an income for your competitors. Where in
Yeah.
which, okay, when you compete at this show, even though you win a prize money, you can get a little something outside from it. You
Yeah.
know, what's like maybe a couple $100,
Yeah.
and yeah, for some competitors they do like photo sessions and stuff like that to make that money. And sponsorship, I think it's about popularity contests too, because if you have a strong following on like Instagram or YouTube or some other platform, people say, let's sponsor this person. But I think with you have an interesting story. Being a mom of 5 kids, being being a veteran, I think maybe somebody's out there, and maybe somebody said like, this lady's story is interesting, and I might want to sponsor her. But then here's the problem: is this, Trisha? There's these guys out there saying, "Hey, Trisha, yeah, you're buff, you're beautiful. I seen you. So you think if I do a favor for you? No, 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 no. Stop it. Stop it. No, don't do that. Don't, you know, just have say, Miss Fladten, we would like to sponsor you. We like your story. We like something about you. We have a product that if it works with you and your interests, we want you to be our brand athlete. So if you're interested in that, so let us know and we'll work with you. I think those are things that really could help some of you competitors out there. Here we got here from a man, Rusty G. Shout out to Russ, he's a photographer. Rusty Photography says, "Afternoon peeps, afternoon Russ." He says, also to Russ, he says, "Thank you for your service. Retired Navy here." Yeah, he was in the Navy. Shout out to
Oh,
Russ. And
good for
yeah, yeah. And also, you know, just from he started flexing earlier, and my man Balls, he says, "Yes, Lord." Come on, man, calm down. Just a little bicep. That's all you got. Come on. So, we're not going too much longer. We do appreciate time you've given us, and your story is very interesting. Stuff you had done through the struggles in your life, the loss and your gains you have made. And this is why I do stuff like this. This is why I reach out to women like yourself, because there's not enough people giving y'all a voice out there to share about your story. People are still going to have the prejudice against, especially with women with muscles, especially if you're on social media. How guys says she's trying to be all buff, yeah, yeah, rah, 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 try to be like a man, and it's usually guys with moves like me who's saying that, who don't have that same commitment and passion as you do. Like one thing, what would you want out of this sport for yourself in the future?
um for myself, I just want to keep I don't know, it's more so for my kids. I want my daughter to not, a lot of me getting the kids involved was to show like the, the woman body isn't necessarily sexualized all the time, is it can be beautiful. And I think for my kids that understand it, the older ones, they're like, wow, mom, like they see how hard I worked to get the physique that I got, so they knew everybody else did the same thing. And so for them, they're really they admire all that stuff. So that's like the most I want to get out of it for my kids, is just being appreciative of the human body and what taking care of it, and setting your mind to goals and accomplishing them. And I've been, like I said, I've been through a lot in my life. I went through, my previous marriage was abusive, so to be a survivor of all of that, I just, you can overcome anything. And so I think that's always why I want to share my story, is just that there's so much, to people, and it's important to understand that and their why versus just kind of judging it. Oh, well, she wants muscles. Like, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about the abuse because my mother, she went through that. With my father, he was in and out of our lives. He was, to quote my other guy, he said like he said my father was a drunk and a fiend. My mother never liked it, not one bit. And here like this, only thing, this is what somebody told me a long time ago. Only thing a man should be the one is between his legs. That's it. You know, you are the mother of someone's child. You are someone's daughter. You are someone's sister. And society, women still have their place. But if it wasn't for you women, like people like my mother and other women who have done good things, also the men in this world who love our women, support our women, and women like yourself who in the sport of bodybuilding, people got to understand and respect what you do and the passion and commitment you have to the sport. I know people are not going to find it very attractive to see a woman in a small little bikini and big muscles, but hey, we love you. We're a fan. We're a fan of both your commitment and your passion, but also we're a fan of your bodies too. And people got to understand there's so much to this sport that's not as easy as everybody thinks. It's not as easy to just get in the gym and doing this and doing that. You have to follow the guidelines. You got to be consistent, and you have to be committed to it because you got to go all in. And you sometimes you have to make sacrifices. There's times where I know you want to spend more time with your kids, but you got to go to the gym. You got to go do this. And also, do you work with people? You're a coach and trainer too.
Yep, I'm a personal trainer and an online coach.
You are just doing you doing competitors, or are you doing just like everyday people too?
Mostly everyday people. I have two girls right now that will be competing in the fall.
Wish him best of luck. So yeah, here we have here from a man, Balls Deep. Shout out to Balls Deep. Says, my computer gets slow. He says, dope interview. Thank you, Balls Deep. Also, he says this. He says, you know, he
Oh,
says
thank
have a beautiful day. Thank you, Balls Deep. Also, this is from my man Russ G. Shout out Russ. He says, he's I need to get his computer updated. I used to just tapping in, giving. So wait a minute. Russ has something to say. He says, "Sorry, I missed the interview. Wait to watch it later, Russ. If you missed it, you can look over through." Also, this is from my man, KLA says, "Thanks for telling your story for this." Oh, wait, it's just come back. He goes, it's just usually I do pretty good some days. I don't know why. It's one of these days. I know what is Trish. What you doing to us here? He says, Thanks for telling your story to some of us. There are a lot of women act funny as telling their story, in my opinion. Well, like I said, some of these women, they feel like they get judged, especially
you.
by society, and sometimes they kind of be, tentative about doing interviews. But this is why I do this, to give y'all ladies the opportunity to share your voice. To let people know that I would love to interview Andrea Shaw. I would love to interview her someday.
Oh,
Ah, that's my dream. I said,
well,
huh?
I said you'll get there. I know it.
It's gonna take time. That's the thing. You gotta be patient. And also, this is from a man, Russ G. He says, Trish, I would love to do a photo shoot with you to cap and celebrate your story. Maybe it would inspire someone who follows you. Yeah. So I'll send you his IG. You can check it out. He does some good stuff. He's right. He's in South Carolina. He's in
Okay.
Charleston. That's just like a hop, skip, jump where I stay at. So maybe we ever do a show closer this way, or I don't know. I think Russ is planning on going to the Olympia, next year. You know, I think he's maybe this year. I think we did an interview. Me and Russ did an interview. I think he's thinking about doing the Olympia, do some photo sessions because that's the biggest show on stage. You think about
Yeah.
going to the Olympia and check it out?
I'd like to go. I just can't this year. I'll watch it at home. I do every year, but hopefully I'll be there as a competitor soon.
Well, yeah, like I say, I hope you do because you know what, it's tough. As you know, they don't have point systems anymore. You have to win to get in,
Yeah.
and and it's like I said, the way some competitors is, you have to really be determined.
Oh yeah.
See, you get to the next level. Here we got here. This is from my man KL. Before we end it off with him, he says, um, It says, all you can do is offer George. Everyone cannot do it. It's the truth. Well, like I said, not everybody can do it, but like I said, I try to do my best. Even I sometimes don't always get the people I want, but I get the people who interest me.
Yeah.
I get people on here who want to share their stories. And I don't worry about the ones who don't, because you know what? You got to think about it. No one's talking about you. There's not, and you got to feel like you have to really speak for yourself. My mama used to always tell us, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. You're not willing to step up and share your story, let people know about you freely. Like I said, you did an interview with Ryan, was I interviewed Ryan a while back. You remember in KL, you're a person that you're very personable, and your story is just about how you got into the sport. It's just very interesting,
Yeah.
and you have a passion for it. And also, again, you got 5 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got you. I'm about 50. I couldn't do it. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was much younger, and didn't have bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I can do it. But now I'm too old now. My sister keeps saying, "You're gonna have a baby?" I say, no. Her grandkids are grown. Her oldest has turned 20. It's gonna be 23 this year, and I couldn't do it. But you know what, man? I respect you and what you do. Don't have to thank me. My favorite quote from my favorite movie, Batman Begins, says, when Jim Gordon says to Batman, I never got a chance to thank you. He says, you never have to, because this is why I'm here. This, like I said, this gives me a purpose. Because after my mom passed, I didn't have much else to do. I don't have kids. I just got me. And reach out to ladies like yourself and hearing your story about, your passion for a sport, what you got in sport. I think people need to understand that. And I think that's why I do stuff like this.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, do you have anybody who wants to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I mean, no, just my usual people, my coach, my team, my family.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to get to support your kids and your family. And shout out to them. The kids won't be long before we go back to school. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, your husband be like dancing streets, like,
Oh yeah.
Now it's somebody else's problem. You don't come back when it's time to eat and go to sleep. So folks, if you're interested in following Trisha, social media description. If someone who's interested in sponsoring her, be genuine with your sponsorship. This helps a lot of these competitors, because it's expensive in sport. And you got to think about it. They're out there on the stage, dehydrated, tired. They are about to die. The pose you got to do. I mean, in high heels, and now you're going to physique. Don't worry about high heels anymore. But be genuinely interested in sponsoring someone like her, or supporting her path. Or if you know her, really let her know that you respect her and support her as an athlete, as a mother, as a veteran, as a wife, and as a woman. That's what we need to remember that. And also, guys, and this is again disclaimer, guys. No detail pics.
No, please don't.
I know, guys get weird. They, it'd be the same guy be talking like, I don't like to hear all that muscle, but then say, I think you're pretty. I want to see something, And to quote the other guy, Trish, you want to tell you something. He wants to say, you are beautiful. Why so serious? Yeah. I gotta stop him. I gotta see a psychiatrist about him. So anyway, folks, I thank Trish for coming through. I thank my man KL the Wanderer, Russ G, my brother Dennis Espinoza, also Joe Camp, Balls Deep. Everybody who's here, who watch, follow, subscribe me. Also, Trish on social media. Support her in her path. Let's wish her best of luck in her upcoming pro debut. It's Triple O Dynasty. Most of us gonna watch it because I love Andrea.
Yeah.
I know I'm a simp, but I mention her name. But Keith, I keep telling you, brother Keith, your hands off my girl. We'll talk about him about that. So folks, thanks for coming through. Appreciate your time. This is your man always yours page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't subscribe. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Do you want me to just exit out? Or are you gonna do it?
Well, you can go ahead and get out.
Okay.
But yeah. Bye.